Visit OnFireTV.com for live top stories, breaking news, and original shows.
Yeah, so we knew this day was coming. But I was not expecting this much time for R. Kelly. What's going on? It's your man, Don McKay, in here, of course, the DonMcKayShow.com, onfire-tv.com. Man, it went down. It went down. R. Kelly, 30 years. He's probably giving us 30 years worth of music. Prosecutors allege that R. Kelly funneled millions of dollars from music royalties through a childhood friend right before his sex trafficking conviction. They allege this, right? R. Kelly sold some of his music rights for $5 million around the time of the trial. The prosecutors allege this. Prosecutors argue that the proceeds should be considered when the judge issues a fine. No, they just want to break this man all the way down. Because there's a fine. There's money. They want some money in addition to taking away the man's ability to make it. R. Kelly's sentenced to 30 years plus $140K in fines, with restitution to be decided later. R. Kelly secretly has access to millions of dollars from the sale of some of his music, funneled through the childhood friend, they claim today in court. And so the assistant U.S. attorney disclosed the claims during his sentencing hearing in Brooklyn, just before a federal judge handed him a 30-year sentence. R. Kelly convicted on sex trafficking charges last fall following this 6-week trial. Prosecutor noted that through his music, he's received revenue from 2 separate forms of intellectual property rights. They act like this was drug money or something. He's a singer, okay? He's a singer, one of the best singers that we've ever seen. It just so happens that he lives his life as a scumbag. The other is the rights to his composition and lyrics, which Kelly personally held until last summer, the month the trial began. If you're going to fine him and force him to pay restitution, right? I don't understand why they're acting like this is drug money or this was illegal money. It's from his songs. Sony has withheld paying R. Kelly royalties. Of course, they want to do that. If they don't have to pay him, they don't want to pay him, they ain't paying him, right? Mysterious. So Sony withheld paying R. Kelly royalties from his master recordings as the company deals with judgments related to the civil legal proceedings against him. So y'all holding his money, and they cutting the money up. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do. R. Kelly, man, we may not see this dude ever again, right? We may not see this dude ever again. They are currently holding between $3.5 and $4.5 million worth of royalties for R. Kelly, but $7 million in judgments. So if you guys at Sony owe a judgment, the company, how are you taking it out of his royalties? Sony did business with R. Kelly, and if R. Kelly has to pay this money, but they also sue the company, why is it all come? Why is he got to pay for all of it? Oh, the music business is grimy. Need I remind you? Tribe Called Quest said it. Record companies are shady, right? So the composition and lyric rights were sold for $5 million. Prosecutors did not identify who purchased them. Yeah, because they ain't trying to throw them under the bus. But R. Kelly, okay, yes. Has he done wrong? Absolutely. 30 years worth of wrong? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This doesn't feel like justice to me. This does not feel like justice to me. The proceeds, according to the prosecutors of this sale, are being held by Kelly's childhood friend. Oh, they name him, though. Keith Halbert. Halbert has also received hundreds of thousands of dollars from royalties from those rights, prosecutors said. These are not illegal funds. I mean, you're putting the man away for life. They're going to take $140K plus who knows how much in restitution. The record company that owes him money is going to be skimming the money off, and he's going to jail for the rest of his life. He's 55 years old. Yes, he has a history. He definitely has a history of sex abuse allegations. Very storied, well known. Are we all a part of this? Because we all knew about this stuff. We supported his music. We danced to his songs. We sang the tunes. Y'all was stepping in the name of love, and y'all knew what he was doing. At least you knew the allegations. And what did we do? We turned the other cheek. Now, of course, Monday morning quarterback, and some of y'all gonna say, "Oh no, I didn't support R. Kelly. You was there. I saw you in the club when we played Fiesta. I saw you." So yes, there is a well-documented history of sex abuse allegations dating back to 1994 when he married Aaliyah. Now, when it happened at the time, I thought it was weird. I saw the Vibe magazine. We sold them in the store that I worked in. Vibe produced the forged marriage certificate and all of that. And we had never heard anything like that. So we just, whatever. 1996, there was a student that sued $10 million. He had $10 million back in 1996. Woo. 2001, there were some controlling behavior claims, right? Now, of course, we remember 2002. It got really crazy in 2002. That's when that tape surfaced. Child porn charges. There was this tape that surfaced circulating barbershops, hair salons, everywhere. The infamous P tape. Why did I say it like that? Why did I say P like that? I don't know. 2017, stuff started getting real crazy. But we were done with it now. People were just over it then. He had already hit his plateau musically. He was going downhill at this point. It's 2017. Lady says that she was starved and forced to have sex. 2018, they were saying he was training them to please him. 2019, sex trafficking charges. Movie came, documentary, whatever. And things really went over the deep end at that point. It's been a long history of this. Now, there are other charges pending, but I believe we've come to the end as far as we ain't going to see this man no more. Out. I don't see how. I don't see how. It is a tragic end. Tragic end. R. Kelly sentenced to 30 years in prison. He's the only one, though. He's the only one. There are other people that I think were a part of this sex trafficking thing, right? Right? It was trafficking. Who else is involved? Prosecutors asked the judge to sentence R. Kelly to more than 25 years behind bars. Of course, his attorneys asked for 10 or fewer. saying that the request was essentially a life sentence. And that's what it is. Survivors of R. Kelly's abuse held hands and prayed as he began reading the sentence, as she began reading the sentence. R. Kelly, in his prison uniform, sunglasses, and a black mask at the hearing, showed no emotion. The judge said that you left in your wake a trail of broken lives. In deciding the sentence, the judge said that she considered Kelly's own traumatic childhood, during which his attorneys said that he was repeatedly sexually abused by a family member and a landlord. It may explain, at least in part, what led to your behavior, but it most surely is not an excuse. Former backup singer for R. Kelly praised the sentence. I started this journey 30 years ago, she said. There wasn't a day in my life up until this moment that I actually believed that the judicial system would come through for Black and brown girls. I stand here very proud of my judicial system, very proud of my fellow survivors, and very pleased with the outcome. So how much money is she getting, right? You're pleased with the outcome. You feel better. Now you can move on with your life. Okay. Yeah, so they just laid one charge of racketeering, 8 counts of violations of the Mann Act, which is a sex trafficking law. Prosecutors from the Eastern District of New York accused Kelly of using his status as a celebrity and a network of people at his disposal to target girls, boys, and young women for his own sexual gratification. They portrayed him as a monster, like for real, for real. So it's probably pretty bad. Kelly made his only comment in response to the judge after his attorney said that he wouldn't speak. Yes, Your Honor, that's my wish, he said. That's just crazy. Crazy. No one can undo the harm that he inflicted on his victims. This is true. This is true, and they have. I mean, he's never going to be like it was before. This the heyday is over. Is done. 30 years is going to be life for him. 55 years old. And I say this because he'd be in his 80s, right? But he still has other cases pending. There's still going to be more time given than this. Still going to be more time. Yeah, I mean, he is being held at the Federal Detention Center in Brooklyn and is expected to be moved back to Chicago, where he faces another federal trial in August on child pornography and obstruction charges. Many people didn't know about his childhood trauma. Kelly said that his closest relationship growing up was with his mother. His earliest memories were watching his mom perform as a singer in a band called Six Pack. And he would often accompany her to McDonald's, where she would drink coffee and they would share a pastry. R. Kelly had never met his father and described his mother's death as the most tragic event in his life, saying that he would go to McDonald's frequently to smell the coffee and remember her. To me, the M stands for mom. Going to McDonald's is always being around my mother, R. Kelly says. But his childhood was also marked by trauma. R. Kelly saw a childhood sweetheart drown when he was a little boy. Also, people interviewed by the psychiatric experts say that R. Kelly was repeatedly sexually abused beginning when he was 6 years old. His attorney said that he was abused by his older sister and also a landlord at times on a weekly basis. Yeah, it was it wasn't an easy thing, but as the judge says, this is not an excuse for the behavior that would later surface. Among the letters that asked for a shorter sentence for R. Kelly, one was written by Diana Copeland, Kelly's former assistant, who testified as a government witness and said she wrote a letter of support to R. Kelly because it was the right thing to do. God does not want us to throw humans away, she said. If we have the audacity to care for the perpetrators as well as the victims, we can all rise. Jocelyn Savage, who was considered a victim of R. Kelly by the prosecutors, also remains a supporter. She said that Robert and I are deeply in love, and it breaks my heart that the government has created a narrative that I'm a victim. I'm a grown woman and can speak for myself, which is why I wanted to provide this letter to the court. In her letter, Savage revealed she is now engaged to R. Kelly. Prosecutors even face threats. Ahead of sentencing, a Chicago man who had attended R. Kelly's trial in Brooklyn was arrested and charged for making threats against 3 U.S. attorneys who prosecuted R. Kelly. A copy of his arrest warrant shows. Christopher Gunn was arrested Saturday for allegedly posting threats to kill or seriously injure the female prosecutors. According to the arrest warrant, Gunn posted a video to his YouTube channel in the fall, shortly after R. Kelly was found guilty, that showed an image of the U.S. Attorney's office for the Eastern District of New York, where the women work. Prosecutors believe a voice narrating the video is Gunn's, and he said, "That's where they at. That's where they work at. We're going to storm the office," saying each of the 3 prosecutors' name. "If you ain't got the stomach for the shit we about to do, I'm asking you to just bail out," he is heard saying. I definitely don't agree with that. My goodness. But R. Kelly, not an innocent person, but 30 years, the rest of his life. I mean, that's what it is. And there's going to be more. There's going to be more time on him, 30 years in prison on these sex trafficking charges. Wow. It is. I mean, I guess it's a fitting end. This is how it goes. This R&B star who long evaded justice. 31 years ago, R. Kelly was a rising R&B artist from Chicago in his mid-20s and signed to a major record label. The future was looking promising for him. And now, a disgraced, talented, troubled, convicted felon, sentenced today, 30 years. Sentenced today, 30 years. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, of course, on fire-tv.com. Is this justice? Is this what he deserved? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts.
Visit OnFireTV.com for live top stories, breaking news, and original shows.